Okay, here we go. We're trying our second uh, recording of a trip around the mountain. This is my daily walk. I usually make 2 rounds, but we're going to start out. This is just the driveway, at the top of the driveway, and this is the open hill. I was just looking at the recording that I made of the new driveway, and I've cleared out quite a bit actually. It used to be a bunch of shrubbery in amongst those trees, and that's now been cleaned out. So anyway, and this is my favorite hickory, but we'll get back to that. Anyway, we're off. Oh, puff mushrooms. So this is about a 0.9 mile walk. It goes, there's an altitude rise of 120 some feet in total, but that doesn't count all the downs and the ups. That's just from the very top to the lowest point. So this is what I call the upper area, or where we started was the upper area. And this is the northern boundary of the property, which my neighbors have thoughtfully put stakes in. And we'll explain that here in just a second. There's the other stake right there. And there's, oh, that's probably going to be a sun flare, but looking the driveway there. And this is my new cut through of the driveway, because when I initially put the driveway in, you can see it here, and this being the northern property line, I extended out onto my neighbor's property by 7 feet, and they offered a solution, and I decided that I would instead adapt the driveway to fit my property line. Anyway, beautiful oak ahead. And again, this is the new driveway. We'll get to the old driveway in a bit. And that's looking back up. So, anyway, this is what I call the upper area, even though it's about 12 feet below. Actually, it's about 20 feet below what I call the upper area. It's just that this is a small little portion of the property that gets cut off by the driveway. Oh, yeah. The mountain itself, it's on a 180-foot high hill. That is the difference between the base and the top is 180 feet, about an 18-story building. And this is my neighbor's property, which is, I have to admit, gorgeous. But let's get back to mine. Oh, that's going to be a sunflower. The original video, the first 5 minutes were sun flares, and we're trying to avoid that this time, but probably won't be able to. The weather's been gorgeous here. It's September 30th, and this is part of a mowed path. The mowing just goes about 50 yards in here. And it takes us to the only part of the property that has maples. So there's the mother maple, I believe, and a lot of other maples here along with it. So this is the only part of the property that gets color. The main most of the trees on the mountain are either oak or hickory. So they don't get any color. This little patch of maples does get color. So we're heading now down a path that's been around for a couple of years. I just sort of widened it out this year. Still not highly used by the deer, I don't believe. I haven't had a camera up here though, so I can't really be certain. But this is going to be coming out amidst the sun flares back out to the main driveway. And we're going to walk down the driveway just a little bit here so you can get a kind of a view of it. And this was built right before I bought the property because the original driveway was too steep. This is at a 12-degree slope. And this, then we turn around, we go up the drive. And we're back up at the upper level here. But we're going to cut into this path here. This is another one that's been around for a couple of years. And I've kind of widened it out this year. It's pretty much a downhill path. Right now we're level, but we're heading down now. few awkward spots right there on the trail. I should probably take out a couple of these little hickories. But I'm able to navigate it right now, so now we're heading down quite a bit steeper. And if you can see through there, that is the hill. We'll be coming out on the hill up here in a second, midway down the hill. So now we're going to go back up a little bit, about a 10-foot rise. That's what sort of disappointed me about the original film that I took, was that you can't really see the severity of these slopes, because now we're going to be heading down quite steep and then up to get back out onto the hill. We'll see how this turns out. So down at the bottom here, and now back up. And back up onto what I call the marble area, because it's full of hickory nuts and gets actually kind of slippery to walk on, like walking on marbles. So again, this is midway down the hill, and that is looking down towards about a third of the way up the hill, and it would have been a great toboggan ride, except you'd have to come back up, maybe with a tow line. Oh, this was the first tractor cut trail that I put in, and it goes from the hill over to the old driveway. And this one came down this spring, or this summer. We just pushed them out of the way. But this is the old drive, looking up and then looking down. And this isn't even the steepest part, but it's steeper than 12 degrees. I know that for sure. And this is a new path that I put in this year. It started out with the beginnings of a deer trail that they stopped using for a while. It starts out here. We're going to go down at a pretty steep, we're getting sunflares, I'm sure, pretty steep angle here. And then we're gonna come down here. There's about I would say about a 20-foot drop there. And now we're gonna follow the contour of the mountain just a bit. There's what I thought would be great entertainment for the deer, but they don't use it. Figured they could get up here and push that, and instead it'll probably just fall on me someday. Anyway, again, we're just following the contour of the slope here. Oh, yeah, this area was a lead ore mining area, and this is lead ore. So the ore was mined here in Highland, Wisconsin, and the surrounding areas. And Mineral Point, Wisconsin, was the place where they shipped it all to be processed into lead ingots and the like. They did some in Dodgeville. They did it all over the place here. So anyway, we're now about to head down pretty steep slope, but this is our barbed wire. And believe it or not, this whole area was barren into the 30s. At least in the 30s, the hills were bare and used for grazing cattle. So they did have barbed wire here to accommodate that. Now I can never get this to show in a picture or a video, but this is going down into the gully here. And then another 15 feet up. So we're at the bottom. And now, excuse the grunting and the groaning and complaining of the body of a 67-year-old man. Okay, that might have been 20 feet. Anyway, we're now here at a place where we can sort of level out. Still uphill. So I will get even more winded on another section that's coming up. But this tree, yeah, I should have moved it or cut it, but I figured this would give the deer, and you can see some of them have been through here, give them agility and jumping strength. So, anyway, now this is where we're at the upper orchard. And right over here, we have my trail cam, and it's set up to watch my watering holes, which I didn't water yesterday, and so the bucket today barely did anything. Might need to go back down, fill it again. But anyway, the deer do love that. So now we're going to head down to the main orchard area, and there's the cabin that my adopted nephew Michael built quite a number of years back now, and I only slept in it once. I did a lot of tent camping the first years before I moved up here 5 years ago. But I was sleeping in the upper area there, and I hear this bam, 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 bam early in the morning. And it turned out it was apples falling from the tree onto the roof. So, anyway. I think after that I went back to tent camping. So we're coming to about the lowest part of the walk. And this is about 70 feet from here to the top area. Height difference. So, yeah, that's looking back up at the orchard. And this is a path that I put in this year that I'm kind of proud of. Not sure that it's getting much use, but essentially it goes 110 feet straight down to the county road where the deer can sample the wares of the local farmers and munch on their soybeans and their corn. Okay, so now this is where the walk gets a little extreme for me, because I don't know, it's pretty darn steep. Back, you can see the cabin there, and this is another path I put in this year. It had been here in the past, but it had fallen out of use by the deer. Yeah, breathing hard, and we're still going uphill. You can see we've had quite a bit of downed leaves already, and we're still going uphill. But as you can see, there's still quite a few leaves on the trees. From my Fitbit, I can tell this is the section where I peak. Anyway, From here it's downhill for 100 feet or so, 100 yards I'd say. But here's why the path fell into disuse, is that this tree fell across it and the deer couldn't get through. So this year I brought the chainsaw down and opened it up. Oh, and this is, yeah, a new cut through that I made just in the past month to sort of connect it at more of a level, following the slope, but I still have that uphill right there. And I do like this grapevine here, just a little grapevine. Back up. And onto about 50 yards of mowed path here. And we're now just about right back where we started, with another pretty severe upslope here. And we're back. And slightly out of breath, but back at the truck. There's an interesting feature on that oak. But anyway, that's my walk, and I generally do 2 rounds a day, about 7,000 steps, about 2 miles altogether. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. I did.